Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of The Probe. 321 aspirants vied for a slot in 111 constituencies described by the NPP as orphaned because the party does not have representation in parliament, and in some cases where there was a relocation of the MP to another constituency. They went to the polls yesterday. Elections were largely smooth, conducted in most cases, and candidates, I must say, elected and others acclaimed to represent the party in the showdown in 2024 elections. But the question many are asking is, these candidates elected, are they formidable? Are they the party's best persons? We'll hear from some of them following their victory, and even those whose loss was absolutely unexpected. But once again, the issue about vote buying reared its ugly head. This time it was displayed openly, with delegates proudly receiving and counting their gains in the full glare of the camera and the public. Well, we know tonight that the OSP has initiated some form of action already by posting pictures of some of the persons involved, saying they are on their wanted list. We'll give you details of that. In fact, that's what we are probing tonight as we recap the polls held yesterday and today by the New Patriotic Party, the governing New Patriotic Party. We'll go through the winning list shortly. I know that in a number of regions, we've told you is 321 constituent candidates, aspirants, I must say, 111 constituencies. We know that in the northern region, for instance, 16 aspirants contested in 7 constituencies. In the Greater Accra region, 52 aspirants in 17 constituencies of the Greater Accra region. In the central region, 37 contested for 11 constituencies. In the Volta region, 29 of them vied for 13 constituencies. In the Oti region, 18 candidates or aspirants vied for 7 constituencies. In the Bono region, 25 vied for 6 constituencies. In the Bono East region, 23 vied for 8 constituencies. In the Ashanti and Ahafo combined, 8 candidates, 3 constituencies, including Aswase, the popular one that we all know. In the Upper West region, 20 aspirants contested for 7 constituencies. They want to represent 7 constituencies, which are orphaned for the NPP. In the Eastern region, 19 aspirants vied for 6 constituencies. 19 candidates in the Eastern region. In the Northeast region, we had 7 vying for just 2 constituencies, and the Western and Western North combined, 14 aspirants vying for 5 constituencies. So that's the breakdown. We'll be looking at the names. I'm sure you've been going through it on our results show yesterday that we brought to you. We'll be hearing from some of the candidates as well, and we'll be privileged to also have in the studios tonight the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, Mohammed, taking us through some of the issues that happen, what then goes forward, what happens to constituencies that are not orphaned, amongst others. This is where you ought to stay, your election headquarters, as we recap everything that happened. We know that some constituencies had to vote today. Some other constituencies have been put on hold. What exactly is the plan by the National Executive Committee of the NPP? That and more we are probing tonight here on the Joy News channel. Live also on Joy 99.7 FM. We're on DSTV channel 421. Go TV is 125. We're on all our social media platforms and affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. I am Emefa Apau, and this is The Probe. This is where you ought to be. Do stay with us.
Ebenezer Nate, Collins Amwa, Lawrence Anyete Ajay, Jefferson Kwamina Saki. 4 aspirants, 1 goal to lead the New Patriotic Party into the 2024 parliamentary elections. Unlike Collins, Jefferson and Lawrence, who are running for the first time, Ebenezer has been here before. In 2016, he won the primaries and went on to secure victory for the NPP. Everyone was expecting him to win.
I strongly believe that I stand a better chance of winning the 2024 seat because I have been there compared to the NDC candidate, who is also an incumbent.
For delegates, it was a field day.
Boss, I mean, are you enjoying yourself?
More than enjoyment.
At least 3 candidates were providing assorted food for breakfast and lunch. You name it.
I eat rice, wache, and kokonte.
Interesting. 1 person, you?
Yeah, only
since morning?
Since morning. 3 drinks.
Minimum tea, kosiana bread. My deep jollof rice and a chicken. Chicken neck to a case.
icing on the cake was the cash in branded envelopes that were given to delegates under the guise of transport fare from some of the aspirants.
Yeah, more than 2,000 cities. More than 2,000. And they give me a lot of fare too right now. Yeah, they give me a lot of fare too.
We got a lot of money.
Money.
This is the first time.
Yes, you see. This is the money.
We never experienced this before.
You see, it's my money. Media.
Some of the aspirants didn't deny it.
This is the biggest food, should I say, stand that you can see on the platform here.
They came to vote, and once they are going back, I need to give them their transport, their TNT. So that's
in the branded envelopes you are giving them?
Yes, we need to reward them in a very nice way. So giving them money in an envelope is a normal thing that everybody does in this country.
After 6 intense hours of voting, the time had come to tally the ballot. The aspirants, visibly anxious and drenched in sweat, were on edge, keenly observing the proceedings. Joseph Mensah-Sam, the returning officer for the Ablekuma Central Constituency, finally revealed the hard-earned results after nearly an hour of meticulous ballot counting.
We have Ebenezer Gilbert Ninanati obtained a vote of 441. Collins Amwa obtained a vote of 493. Lawrence Anyete Ajay obtained a vote of 11. Jefferson Kwabena Saki obtained a vote of 539.
At the end, 3 losers and 1 victor. The losing aspirants pledged to support the candidate.
We will support him to make this constituency great again.
What next for you?
Well, I'll be around and I'll still be in the constituency to still support them in any way that they want.
Many are wondering, are you going to take back your television and money?
No. It's a reward which I did promise them, and I think this is part of democracy.
But I hope and believe that we all rally behind the candidate to unseat the NDC and make sure that we break the 8th come on the 7th of December.
Jefferson Saki, who won by a small margin, promised to improve fortunes of the party and promised to unseat the NDC MP.
The other aspirant, I want to assure them that the unity that we have always been preaching of in our party, I'm definitely going to be working with them.
So what next?
Well, we are going to sit down, think through it, meet the delegates again, now go beyond the party, go through the various things, especially in our constituency. But I can promise you that it's going to be a door-to-door affair on a daily basis, going to the constituents, preaching the good works of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Finally, what do you say to the NDC candidate Latif Dan?
Latif Dan should be ready, because there's a new energy that is in Ablekuma Central Constituency now.
For Joy News, Michael Ashali.
Skade men sanka be aduane no de amma mai. Skane de nyame no kuro bi amfa nsika mai.
Say no ede na mo twen ansa na akokoto aba.
Twen se omo diska me ba ansa na ya to aba no. Bi se de ma ya ni abla ya twen iska no. Omo de bia ya pen. Ana panifo se kwase du ya entia so mpire no. Nti se skane ba de a obi akokoto na ba na ya yefiri.
Skane ba ya.
No money, no vote.
Nezo so no say other aspirant ni bi e de omutika aba ana obi
amfa ne de ma wan siri kora MP obi a twen se me de 5 ne beba wan siri 6 ne beba na se obi asika ma ya na ba mba mfaso be na wo so impese me obi a ni sika ba ansa na mtuma kwa akoto aba no
it will say no money
no vote
I say sika ne ba mo ba kwa akoto aba
me ka me kire o ene wa me tikura metoso Kwa kwa tuwe firiwo.
Sikasa na muhwe ni muso mo de bema mo.
Oh, de obi abetimi obi ahon de betimi obetimi o de beba no. Se obi de wan siri kura pie esi ana. Ebetuma to ama no. Da se omo yo je se me hwe di a. Boto aba no wie na obi ani ho.
Eche mba ya nya de se mo beto aba.
So So that's how it went down yesterday, and some candidates or some constituencies, about 2 of them also voted today, Sunday, December 3. And it's a wrap for the NPP's Orphan Constituencies, and 321 aspirants vied for a slot in 111 constituencies, orphan constituencies. And in the studios with me tonight is the Deputy General Secretary of the party, that's the NPP, Mohammed. Thank you so much for joining us here on The Probe.
Thank you, MFA.
Did you vote yesterday?
No, I'm not entitled to vote.
Okay. You are not in an orphan constituency. So which constituency do you vote? So I'll check the next time.
For me, my constituencies are national.
Okay.
So for the national executives and the regional executives, we don't vote in parliamentary elections.
Okay.
Vote in presidential elections.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So at least, but are there any names that came up that's surprising for you in terms of what you've seen so far out of these constituencies, 111 constituencies?
Not at all, because all the men and women that had picked forms for contest for the parliamentary primaries of our party were men and women of wisdom and people that we believe that they are the people that will win the elections for us.
Okay.
So any of them, as they have been declared winners for the various constituencies, are the people that we are going to send into the elections. So for me, there were no surprises. I was very happy with the results and the peaceful nature of the conduct of the election.
None of the constituencies stood out for you in terms of the candidates that you got. I'm sure you were interested in 1 or 2 contests, or you would say because you are the Deputy General Secretary, no contest at all.
For us at the national level, what our interest was to get a candidate. A candidate that will be able to win the election.
Okay.
So any of them that emerges is our candidate.
Yeah.
It is very difficult as a national officer conducting elections for people who wants to lead the party in the various constituencies to belong to a side.
Yeah.
When you begin to do that, you begin to lose the nut. And that is why this current crop of executives, right from the flag bearership election, we have decided to stay away from declaring to support any other candidate. I would have friends, I would have families, and what have you. But the biggest interest of me is to make sure that I stay neutral. Well,
in spite of that declaration from the national executives, so to speak, there are those that has been described as system candidates, and it appears that there were full support for certain candidates. These are issues that we'll be getting into. But overall, from where you sit, since you are monitoring, you have an overhead view of everything that's going on, or an aerial view, I should say. What's your preliminary report in terms of yesterday and today's election that was conducted?
I think that the results clearly indicates that we are ready for power. We would be winning majority of the seats come 2024 elections.
Okay.
And the women and men that we have gotten so far demonstrate the fact that we are ready for the battle. Remember, these are constituencies that we don't have MPs. And the kind of people, if I am to serialize them one after the other and to look at their competence and how they resonate well with the people, I think that we are very clear in our minds. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the delegates, all the delegates that took part in taking the decision to elect these persons to represent our party. Did a very good job for us. And it's
they elected the right candidates, you'd say?
Sure. The right candidates were elected. But we as a party, there was no winner and there was no loser at the end of the polls. Because this is internal contest. In internal contest, there's no loser. There's a selection. So once a selection was made, all the rest of the people who had also come out to contest for the same position will come and support the one that was selected. After every competition, there comes cooperation, and that is what we look out for. It is left with us as national officers, regional officers, constituency officers, to make sure that we bring everybody on board. Because this is a special election that we are going in for. This is our second attempt in breaking the 8.
Yeah.
And this time around, it is going to make it. We are very sure of winning political power. But we need majority in the House of Parliament.
Well, stay with me, because I'm not too sure if all the constituencies have no issues, like you're saying, in terms of you've come out a more united front in terms of these orphan constituencies, amongst others. There are some key constituencies that we'll be heading into and take a look at it, because there were things that came out of it during the primaries. And after that, we are not too sure if the party is handling it the best way. You know how we'll get into it. But let me take you on the ground now. Stay with me, and we'll touch base with some of the candidates. I'll start off with Akuapem North. Well, you had an MP there. There was a relocation, and then yesterday we saw an acclamation of Samioku, the Director General of the National Lotteries Authority. Thankfully, he joins us via Zoom. We are grateful for your time here on The Probe, Mr. Samioku. Yes, we can hear you loud and clear now, Mr. Oku. So let's take us back into this decision. We were told it was going to happen. Some said it wasn't going to happen. And then finally, we heard about the acclamation yesterday. Really, what went into that decision to represent the people of Akuapem North?
Well, let me say good evening to your cherished viewers, and also to Haruna, our Deputy General Secretary. And let me also pay glowing tributes to the chiefs and people of the Akuapem North and the Ekropon constituency. They did some of us the honors. They've been very supportive over the last 10 to 11 years, when many of them had called on me to come contest. First, it was in 2012 that I said I wanted to run for the National Youth Organization of the NPP. The second time was in 2016. I told them that I think I still needed to concentrate on helping the NPP capture political power. Then in 2020 as well. So this time around, after serving at the Asylum Down headquarters of the party for over 11 years, as Deputy Communications Director, as National Youth Leader and Organizer, and exiting from the party leadership, they once again did call on me to consider coming back home. So if you see the hashtag Ofie was basically going back home. So it started, and we are here. Let me thank Miracles Dennis Abwaji as well. He was the immediate past MC there. I owe him a great deal of gratitude, and Nanaya planting of myth and all that. We are all the Akuapem boys there, and they've been extremely supportive in this venture. So yes, yesterday, as you said, and then MFI, just before you come in, the delegates, the polling station executives, the electoral area coordinators, and the constituency executive, they were resilient and unanimous in their decision that yes, the party opened nominations. They were prepared not to have anybody even come distract them by contesting, even though it was open for all. But they were clear in their minds that they were not going to even sign for anybody if you bring your funds for endorsement. So I thank them, and to whom much is given, much is expected. Close of nominations, I was the only one who filed. I subjected myself to the vetting process. And yesterday as well, they were 100% in their acclamation of my good self to represent them in Parliament. And I've promised them that I'm going to be a member of Parliament and a candidate for all. If I win 2024 general elections, I'm not going to discriminate on the basis of whoever you supported in the past, and even which political party that you belong to. Okay. Talking about an election.
But it appears that other candidates or aspirants were intimidated out of the contest such that nobody could come up because you were there, knowing that some have said you hounded the current MP out of Akuapem North. She found herself at Okainkwe North, even though she won. But the talk is you actually virtually hounded her out of Akuapem North.
I'm not too sure that is the narrative. I think she said that people, just as the Venerable W. Boaf, who was such an important asset for the NPP in Parliament. If you look at the Committee of Parliament, subsidiary legislation and all, W. Boaf unfortunately lost to the Honorable Nanama Dokwesi in 2016. And Dokwa also served the people well, to the best of her ability. And she never indicated to me that she wanted to contest again. But I was also clear in my mind that when nominations opened, I was going to contest. At no point in time did we have a discussion that she felt that I was sounding out. I don't think so. But maybe she had a different interest now to serve the people of Okaigwe North. And I'm excited that she was also able to win. And I wish her access in Okaigwe North. And I believe that she also will have something positive to contribute to all the development of that constituency. For now, my focus is on the Ekuapem North and Ekropon. What happens in Okaigwe North is for them to discuss.
Well, I know that it's up to the people of Okaigwe North to discuss, but let's clear that. Really, was there any backdoor talk between yourself and Dokuya? There's a talk that maybe you may have even supported her in Okaigwe North, amongst others. What really is the background talk? Is there any talk at all, or at the party level? What exactly is the background that we ought to know to this?
I will plead the fifth on this matter.
But is there any acrimony between you two, you'd say?
No. I think when we meet, we do share pleasantries and we talk as a brother and a sister. But the moment you see a ballot box, then that means there's no consensus on a matter, and that is why you put a ballot box there. And even though if she had decided to contest in the Ekuapem North, I still would have contested. But that backroom talk and background, I've heard some. What I can say is that we had no direct talks on this matter, but I can confirm that there were people closer to her, people closer to me, that were talking to each other. But I don't think that is something that I would like to go deeper into it. But it wasn't something that it was a pen to paper thing that there was an agreement that goes to Okaigwe North and the But I can say that there were kind of indirect talks between us about her future and what she wanted to do, and also me myself being clear on what I wanted to do. At the end of the day, it was clear that the two of us could not contest on the same tickets in the same constituency. And I believe that she had also served her time well there. And then she also had indicated she wanted to also move to another constituency, which I thought that was also another good decision. And I believe that if at any point in time, I also had another opportunity to also contribute my quota in any way, definitely I would do so. But I sense the mischief from the media side.
Mischief on the media side, you say. But you can say for a fact that there's no acrimony between the two sides.
At all, at least not from what I know.
Okay. Well, but what's the plan for Ekuapem North? Because almost like no contest for Samioku. It doesn't look like anyone wants to contest Samioku in Ekuapem North. Well, what then is the plan to actually maintain the seat for the NPP? It's a huge task ahead, or is it a walk in the park for you?
I don't think so. To start with, almost 13,000 supporters of the NPP did not vote in 2020 due to one reason or the other. First of all, I need to help reconcile the constituency. We've had our fair share of chieftaincy issues up the mountains. And then again, due to some issues of the past, one reason or the other, over 13,000 of our supporters did not step out to vote. And the president also got higher vote than we did in the parliamentary. Aside that, for the first time, we also lost an entire township of the Mamfi people, which we've never lost since 1996. So I need to also help bring all these people together, reconcile the people there. The support base of our party must be re-energized. And my hope, my prayer is that I won't let them down. I will also serve them in truth, in diligence, in integrity, in transparency, and in honesty and respect. And I want to help them build a constituency that will be enduring, a constituency that will also, I'll help them lobby for projects as well. I want the Ekuapem North constituency not to be a constituency of choice, but the constituency of choice to harness vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in 2024 and the NPP. We hope to deliver one of the biggest votes for the NPP presidential candidate and that of the party in the parliamentary votes in 2024. So for this, I have to work times 10, like what I did when I was youth leader or national organizer.
Okay. Mrs. Ameoku, we are grateful for your time, and we'll be looking out for Ikuapem North. This is your election headquarters, and of course, we have our lenses there as well. We are grateful for your time. We can only wish you all the best in your quest to maintain the seat for the NPP in Ikuapem North. Thank you so much for joining us here on The Probe. I would stay on Zoom and bring in Pius Enam Hajide. Tried it in the Volta region, was unsuccessful. He's now in the Sojaman, and he won that contest yesterday. Thankfully joins us via Zoom. Mr. Pius Hajide, congratulations. In order, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you very much, MFR. Thank you.
It's been a huge task. Many thought that this wouldn't be your time, because moving from the Volta region and then entering the Eastern region, a Sujaman constituency. How easy was this, you'd say?
Well, thank you very much again, and good evening to you, to the Deputy General Secretary, my brother and friend, and to Same, who also joined over Zoom, to the good people of the Sojaman constituency who are watching and listening to us. Yes, we are grateful to God for his continued mercies and blessings. Many were those who thought that it was going to be impossible. Some thought it was going to be difficult. And I insisted that it was going to happen. I had served the Sojaman constituency well. You're right that I did have a stint with the Katu North constituency in the Volta region in 2012. I was the party's parliamentary candidate. I was much younger then, and I had acquired some experience since. And so I knew that I came to the table with a wealth of experience, having done this already. So I knew that it was going to happen. But allow me, MFR, to also use this opportunity to express my profound gratitude to the good people of Sojaman, particularly the delegates in the just ended elections, the constituency executives, council of elders, council of patrons, electoral area coordinators, and polling station executives for the victory. What looks like an emphatic endorsement of the Sojaman Rising agenda. It appears that our message of restoration, our message of rescue has been accepted by the people, and we look forward to working with them to reposition Sojaman to be able to increase on the quality of parliamentary representation that the people deserve. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the honor that has been done me. But
one wonders why you would want to be in a hurry to leave the NYA. There are those who say that what really you've been put in charge, in the helm of affairs when it comes to the youth, amongst others. But you and your deputy, you all want to go to Parliament. Why? The NYA is not a happy place?
Well, probably the NYA may be a happier place, but the idea is not about happy or sad. The idea is to continue to serve the people of our country.
And you can't serve at the NYA since the party is, you are so sure you're breaking the 8 and you're staying in power. Yes, why don't you want to stay at the NYA? You want to go to Parliament?
Well, I mean, I believe that both my colleague, and I congratulate her, the Venerable Akosia Menu, who also won the Adenta constituency elections yesterday. I believe that we have both served well. We have helped in the development of the young people of our country. We have fashioned out programs and policies that have far-reaching implications. And I speak for myself now. I think that the time has come to refocus our attention towards the good people of Sojaman. We believe that our situation could be better. We believe that we are being quite underrepresented. In the voice of the people, this is the voice of God. We have listened to the clarion call. The chiefs have invited us. The young people, the market women, they've invited us to come to the rescue of Sojaman. And we responded to that call. And yesterday, the delegates manifested that what we had always suspected, what we had always known, was actually the voice of the people. And they gave us an overwhelming victory in a very, very difficult elections. But if also allow me to congratulate my colleagues with whom I contested. They gave me a good run for my money for what it may be worth. I also learned a lot from them in the journey. I congratulate them. This is not a victory for Pius. This is a victory for the New Patriotic Party. I do not see a loser. This morning, very early in the morning, I was out to visit them personally and to congratulate them also and to invite them to join hands with me as we work hard to rescue the seat from the NDC. Okay. So, yes, we have had to move on. In fact, whether we will continue to be CEO or deputy CEO at the National Youth Authority now would lie in the hands of Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who I am convinced, without doubt, will be the president after the 7th of January in 2025. And so until then, we will continue to serve our time as chief executive and a guest deputy in the case of my sister Akosua. But then our tenure will come to an end. And I'm sure His Excellency Dr. Bawumia will find a set of capable hands to fill in our shoes whilst we move on to represent the peoples of our various constituencies and continue to do what we have done at the NYA in our various constituencies.
There were a lot of talk also about the issue about this transportation, vote buying, amongst others that we saw in some parts of the Greater Accra region. Did that happen in Esojaman? Did you cook? Did you give transportation, amongst others, to delegates to vote for you?
Well, in Esojaman, the situation was quite different. We also want to express our gratitude and appreciation to the hardworking elections committee headed by the Venerable Dr. G.K. Sian, who is the chairman of our Council of Elders. What we did was to pool resources together, all four contestants. We pooled resources together, and so there was cooking for the delegates from the center. The elections committee supervised feeding, the elections committee supervised transportation. And so I believe that the delegates were focused on our messages, and I believe that it was the strength of our messages that reflected in the ballots that were cast. At the personal level, did we reach out to the delegates? I cannot speak for any other person, but I think that, like we do with all campaigns, you go around, you meet delegates, and then you give them something to transport themselves in and out of your meeting rooms. That's been the practice. But the kinds of envelopes and things that I saw with respect to other constituencies, I did not see in Esojaman. I mean, and I speak for myself, but I suspect that if something like that had happened with the machinery we had put on the ground, we would have intercepted such information.
What the youth would want you to assure them is that whilst you start the campaign as the National Youth Authority boss, I don't know when you're hoping to vacate the seat, but once you are still there, what's the assurance that you and your deputy, you both have to be, you know, campaigning? I know you would say that the institution is not just the two of you, but you are the helm of affairs at this key institution. The assurance that we will need is whether your campaigning will not affect the work that you do at the National Youth Authority.
You know too well that one of the critical functions of management, of leadership, is delegation. And a good leader is one who is able to identify talents, rally those talents, and delegate. The issue of supervision is key. And we'll continue to delegate, we'll continue to identify those talents and deploy them, and we'll continue to supervise. But there's a trend. MFI, you should have noticed that Ras Mubarak, my brother Ras Mubarak of the NDC, he was CEO at the NYA, and then he went on to become Member of Parliament. And then the Honorable Sylvester Tete, from whom I took over, was Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, and today he's Member of Parliament for the people of English, Botiano, Amanfro.
So NYA is a fertile ground For breathing?
It's a trend I do not intend to break, my dear. It's a trend I do not intend to break.
Okay.
But we will keep our eyes on the ball. The president's instructions to us are clear. We have a clear understanding of our vision, our mandate at the NYA. We shall not let the parliamentary ambition in our various constituencies get in the way. We shall do well by the young people of our country. But in our spare time, we shall work hard to take our message of restoration, our message of hope to the good people of our constituency. And we are hopeful that when the results are declared on the evening or in the evening of the 7th of December 2024, yours truly will be declared the winner of the parliamentary elections in the Sujaman.
Well, your election headquarters will definitely be watching there, also German constituency. We are grateful. That's Pius Enam Hajide. We are grateful for your time. We can only wish you the best in your quest. And his deputy, Akusia Menu, joins us on the phone as well. Kozi, thank you so much for joining us here on The Probe.
Good morning. I'm saying good morning. Good evening, MFA.
I'm sure you're looking forward to the morning after. Yeah, I know. But I was just asking Pius, what is it at the NYA that both CEO and deputy CEO all want to go to Parliament? Why? You're not happy at the NYA?
Oh, I mean, you can't be at one place forever. You certainly have to aspire for, you know, an opportunity to serve. And what the NYA does for us, especially with working for young people, it hones your skills as a leader, given the various functions you'd have to undertake. But let me say a big congratulations to Pius. My boss, I haven't spoken to him since yesterday. I'm very proud of him. Congratulations to him.
And he mentions how proud he is of you as well. And he mentioned it earlier, I must say, if you didn't hear it. But really, let's talk about Adenta. It's a seat that many were watching closely. Some said you definitely would do it. Others said it was going to be a huge task for Akusia Menu. At the end of the day, we're watching. It started with some macho men invading the area, amongst others. What really did you hear about that particular incident? What exactly went down? It must have ended, but what really happened?
What happened in relation to that incident, I didn't get to witness it.
Okay.
But after the results were declared, one of the persons that had instigated the fight came over to me to apologize and to say that he also lives in the constituency, and I think he actually is also an executive, a polling station executive, and was calling for literally a truce, that we should all get along because post this we have a bigger task ahead. Truth is, I didn't get to witness it, and I have varying accounts of what happened. But I can say that it was unfortunate. It was most unfortunate that it had to go that way. I did not know the intention behind it. But you'd always want to not have any incident, you know, be it violence or whatever disruptions during an electoral process, especially in a place like Adenta. But this person I'm referring to, he goes by the name Bodyman. But all I can say is I felt it was a big step on his part to acknowledge his faults and to reach out. I don't want to lay blame on anybody's doorstep. I believe that the processes we go through to elect officials should never be marred by any incidents of unrest or fights or whatever.
Okay.
You know, and I didn't see it because I was too far off. I saw people running off and stuff, and everybody giving a different account. But him reaching out and saying he didn't act right. So till this morning, I've you know how it is. There's so many calls, text messages, and whatnot.
Yeah.
And when the dust settles, we need to sit down and see what really happened and build bridges.
Okay.
What it is it's evident that the constituency has been been polarized.
Okay.
Even going into the 2020 elections, and I think last time I spoke to Evans, I mentioned that, and what goes for me is the fact that I wasn't in that mix of issues then.
Okay.
Which and the strongest point for my campaign was being a unifier and bringing everybody on board. So we need to put all our differences aside. We need to forge ahead because it's a bigger task, especially for us in Adenta in 2024.
But winning the Adenta seat is a much bigger task than, the parliamentary primary, you'd say. And that's what we all know. The NPP got it. We had lawyer as the one there, and then now it's the NDC there, amongst others. The bigger task, the first hurdle has been cleared, but the bigger challenge ahead of you is actually winning the Adenta seat. What's the plan in place, you'd say? Beyond unity.
I'll be the first to admit that it's a huge task, almost daunting. But there are a couple of things that work in our favor as a party. That the seat swings, that the current MP has also lost some favor amongst his own followers, that the ground when it comes to Adenta is actually calling for female representation. That we've had the men come, let's see what a female can do. And this cuts across from both sides. So I know that it's something that I can't do alone. And I certainly won't lay out all my strategies on this call, MFA.
I know you definitely not do that.
The first thing that is paramount is to bring everybody on board.
Okay.
Without that, you'd see that the history of Adenta is often when we win, when NPP does win, the margin is not as significant as when NDC wins. So we need to look at that, which means that unity is not negotiable. We need to unite ahead of 2024.
Okay.
So and just extending an olive branch to all my competitors, Obi Nate, Kwesi Obeng Fosu. We're still one party, irrespective of what has transpired in the last year. The bigger agenda is the people I seek to lead, of which they are all part of. So if we have to put the people first, which is always my thing, then let's all come together, put our differences aside, and unite ahead of 2024.
Kosi, we are grateful, and I'm hoping that we could get a longer time with you and definitely go into how difficult it is for females to be campaigning and all the challenges that comes with it. I'm particularly interested in female candidates and the hurdles they will have to clear when it comes to campaigning. Thank you so much, Kosi, and once again, congratulations. And well, you've been hearing from some of those who made it through. Would definitely get to speak to some of them more before we wrap up. But really, let's talk about Okankwe North. First off, during the election yesterday, at least, I heard from Ken Crunchy, one of the candidates that has been vying for the seats over and over for some time now. With the onset, or when Dokuya came in, raised the issue about a tenant and all that, and it appears that Dokuya was foisted on Okankwe North. I was asking Samuel Oku earlier. I'm sure this issue has been brought to the party's attention, hasn't it?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yes, the party has grievance and disciplinary procedures as contained in this constitution, in Article 4. Nobody has triggered any of these portions of the constitution to the National Party for redress. And once such things are not being triggered, the party will absolutely have nothing to respond to. Again, there was a committee that was put together to vet the parliamentary candidates for the Greater Accra region. There were two committees, one headed by my able boss, lawyer Justin Kwadwo Frimpong, and another headed by an affable woman, Kate Jamfua. They did their work, yes, they did their work very diligently. No petition was put before the party. No appeal was made before the party. And I think that everything went on smoothly, and we had not infringed on any law, either the MPP's party's constitution or the national constitution.
Well, the issue about vote buying, I'm sure this is not the first time we're talking about this. And every time we hear that party's disciplinary committee has been triggered, they are looking into it, we never get the report, amongst others. Now another election has just ended, and you see, you always ask for evidence. We've given you evidence from Ablekuma Central, for instance, and we had also from the Ashanti region. It looks like it's come to stay.
First, there has not been any reportage with respect to vote buying that has been brought to the disciplinary committee's attention that has not been discharged. What we continue to ask for is that many a times these allegations are made out there. When party officers' attention are drawn to that, we refer the matter to the disciplinary and grievance procedures, that when this matter comes to our attention, or the body that was supervising the election, i.e. the national officers that were there, if this matter is reported and indicated in the report for investigation, these matters will be investigated. So these matters has not come properly before the party for investigation.
How should it come properly? Who should bring it to the party?
Because we have representatives at the election centers. So when they see that things that are happening are going against the laws that...
But the delegates themselves were happy about it, declaring it, showing us how happy they are. They've eaten, they've given money, someone going away with more than 2,000 cedis, amongst others. Who then will be there and come and report when they are beneficiaries of what is going on?
They were showing to you, but our officers on the ground did not see that. We are seeing this as you are showing. But when you say we ask for evidence, I am seeing pictorial evidence of people holding money. But I've not seen who is giving them the money. So I find it very difficult to investigate such matters.
But you've seen the takers. The takers and those giving are all culpable, aren't they? And you've seen those who took it. At least the first step is
I can't tell whether he took it from an aspirant because he's holding the money.
But the first step is to at least reach out to the people that you know who are your delegates. Then you can take it from there. Is that not the
point? Is that why you will be investigating? You would cost a case on yourself and investigate that. The point is that the person is holding the money. Who gave the person the money? I don't know. Nobody too has also reported that a bribe has been given or vote has been bought anywhere. So invariably, the party cannot investigate a shadow because these people could be keeping the money from their own pocket, remove it and brandish it for people to see. Because we haven't seen the person giving him the money.
Well, I'm sure you've seen the action that has been taken by the OSP. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has just put out pictures of these persons, put them on their wanted list for them to aid in investigation.
Well, if he wants to chase the wind, he can. But the laws are there. If he applies the appropriate laws and he's able to get the people, that will be fine. But if he would chase the wind too, he would have to do that.
But you think it's unfair for their pictures to be put out the way it's been put out? Do you think that this is an exercise in futility for the OSP?
For me, I'm not a lawyer. I find it difficult to get the appropriate provisions in the constitution or legal backings to that. If the people feel that it is unlawful, they have lawyers, and they feel it's unlawful, they have put it because they have not been put before a competent court of jurisdiction to be put out there. Even the police, if they arrest somebody, they most of the time put covers on their faces and all about. But I don't know. Because I don't have legal background to be able to ascertain that. But if they feel injured or damaged in a manner, they can sue. And for me, NPP as a tradition, we believe in rule of law. So if the laws work, it's very welcome.
Well, thankfully, we have the former Deputy Attorney General, Joseph Diendu-Okpemka. He won his seat also, Timpani District in the Upper East region. Thankfully, joins us on the phone. So maybe he can help us with this as well. Congratulations once again, Joseph Diendu-Okpemka.
Congratulations to me, is the right one. My dear sister, MFA, I'm grateful for the congratulations. Thanks to the Minister, the Timpani constituency, and thanks for having me on air this evening. It's a privilege and an honor to talk to you.
Well, the race to going back to Parliament is definitely on. But really, there was a legal issue that we were haggling on right here with Mr. Mohammed in the studios. I'm sure you can help us with this. The issues about vote buying was quite widespread from my colleagues. We have some reports from Accra here in the Ashanti region as well. And the OSP has taken some action. A number of the reports that we made and the pictures have been put out. They've been put on the wanted list to help the OSP in its investigations. Really, what are your initial thoughts on this? There are pictures put out there, amongst others, when in fact there have been no, established facts against them that they've actually been taking all these monies or they were actually bribed to vote for anyone, is the concern?
Well, first of all, two things legally. There ought to be a complainant in certain circumstances. And in other circumstances, proper reportage from a media house could trigger investigations to establish the truth, the veracity or otherwise of a claim that has been made by a person. So if the party on its own decides that they watch those pictures and they are sorry, they are unacceptable, they are undemocratic, they infringe on the basic tenets and principles of our democratic governance, the party can trigger an investigation so motu and without reference to any complaint. Again, we can also have a situation where there's a specific complaint by a person that Mr. A or Mr. B offered a bribe to a delegate, and then the delegate did accept the bribe. And remember that in our legal jurisprudence, both the giver and the taker are culpable of crime. It is not only the person who gives who is supposed to be charged with and tried with an offense for a crime that has been committed, but it is both. So if you actually want to do a proper prosecution in line with our law, then the one who offered the bribe and the one who accepted are both supposed to be put on trial. But this is where the difficulty will come from. Whether or not somebody will voluntarily give you information that he'll be ready to be prosecuted for his own way.
Well, so the OSP is doing that on your behalf. It looks like the party may be unwilling to do that because for obvious reasons, you would say. The OSP has taken some action, splashed pictures of those that were in the report and those that they think ought to answer questions to them. They put their names out, put them on wanted list. That's the way to go, isn't it?
Well, let me put this in perspective. The office of the OSP is supposed to investigate corruption and corruption-related offenses. Now, the point is, if somebody offers money to a delegate and tells you that he offered the money to the delegate for food and transport, how are you going to charge the person with corruption and corruption-related offense and establish a prima facie case against the person in a competent court and then be able to convict? That if you do, you are likely to suffer a technical knockout if lawyers for the accused person are able to argue successfully that what even happened was not corruption and for corruption-related offense.
Okay.
So a very delicate and intricate situation that ought to be handled carefully. Otherwise, what we are going to do is that at the mention or at the sight of money in the hands of a person who claims to be given, we run to the OSP, we run to court, and then legal processes that result in an embarrassing judgment against the office of special prosecutor. So care will have to be taken. Yes, the video showed that people were flaunting the money, but they didn't specifically mention who gave it to them. So the investigation would then establish who gave it to them.
Exactly.
And what was the purpose. You know, if you are giving a person an amount of, let's say, 200 cities or 300 cities, there may be justification for transportation and feeding. But if you give 2,000, what would be the motive behind that 2,000 cities you gave to a particular delegate and etc.? Is it meant to influence the person? So that is also going to be on the basis of evidence that was met. And remember that in law, the actus reus and then the intent will have to coincide for you to secure a conviction. There must be an intent to influence, and then the act itself will have to be committed.
Okay.
So if those two ingredients are available, then before any court, you could secure a conviction. So here, the difficulty, as I've said, is that it's a very, very difficult situation to establish because sometimes witnesses may not even be ready and forthcoming with evidence that indeed the money that was offered to them was bribe.
Reason, I'm sure they've been put on the wanted list to be able to help the OSP to do this. But Mr. Kpemka, there's an issue that we'll be exploring further. We'll leave it here. Thank you so much. And once again, we congratulate you on winning the Timpani seat. And we'll definitely engage further on this. But Mr. Mohammed is still with me in the studio. So the legal hurdle has been cleared for both of us, because I'm also not a lawyer. But the issue also about some of the constituencies that were put on hold. Yes. You know, some constituencies were put on hold, yes. The issue about Fomena, amongst others. What exactly is the decision going forward? Then we can look at the non-orphan constituency party and the timeline that has been put to that, so we can wrap up.
Yes, about 7 constituencies were put on hold. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, an additional one was also added, which is Evaluadra.
Okay.
Because of MUSEC had issued a letter on security grounds for the venue that was to be used for the conduct of the election. In Ashanti region, Fomena is one of the constituencies that we have kept on hold. Ilo Krobo, Boku Central.
Because of the second deputy speaker, to protect the second deputy speaker.
Yes, we have not opened nominations at that place. In the wisdom of the National Executive Committee, NEC had put that one on hold. Boku Central, Ketu North, Akati North, Jomoro, and Elembele. Jomoro, the vetting will come on this week.
Okay.
Elembele, we are inviting them to meet them, and that hurdle to also be cleared. Okay. So we want to treat these constituencies case by case. And on the 20th of this month, we'll be opening nominations for the sitting members of parliament, where we would be expecting people who are interested to represent the party in those areas to pick their forms. Forms will be picked on the 20th, and forms will be submitted on the 22nd. We have 3 days period for this work to be done. Again, we had about 21 constituencies that we had unopposed. These candidates are being declared, and on the instructions of the National Executive Committee, acclamations were done for these constituencies. One was added yesterday, where our mentor, the Venerable Sami Owuku, who has been a youth leader of this party, has been an astute communicator of this party. Most of us have served under his tutelage, and we respect him and admire him so much. He also happened to have picked one of the sitting members of parliament seats where we had acclamation yesterday. Yesterday to North Dai we had acclamation, and then we also have at Bia East. So that sum up to now give us 22 areas that we have done acclamation. Acclamations may be done further after nominations are picked and submitted after 22nd of December. And the party will take decisions on how this will be conducted. I want to take this opportunity to thank all those who were selected together from other members who contested for these positions. This is a very important role that has been given them. They have not been assigned to work on their own as individuals. They are to lead a team of constituency members in terms of executives and people who will be voting for us, including floating voters. All of that has to be worked through as a team, and I congratulate everybody. I would not conclude without thanking the national chairman of our party, Mr. Stephen Ayensin team. Chairman and the general secretary have done so well for us to have a presidential primaries organized peacefully, for us to have parliamentary elections in orphan constituencies organized peacefully. And we're hoping to see a more peaceful organization of the sitting members of parliament.
I know you'll definitely be back this week.
Yes, the media too, you did very well.
Thank you.
You have followed through all the rules that we have put through. There were calls here and there. Let's get this document. We need this list. We need that.
And thank you for always responding to our calls and then being on the shows as well.
And the security agencies and the
electoral Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed. We are grateful. That's the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. He will definitely be back this week, I'm sure. Definitely be back. We are grateful. And that's how we end today's edition of The Probe. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. And don't forget, our national dialogue on illegal mining comes off tomorrow. You can't miss it. We'll definitely bring you live coverage on all our platforms, Joy News, Joy FM, and our social media platforms. You can't miss it. Made possible by WaterAid and the Minds and Energy Chamber. We are grateful for your time here. For our radio audience, we have a Walk with Jesus, and for TV, Amele Josu is up next with Celeb Base. Please do stay. And The Fly, don't worry. Have a good evening. I am MFA Pao.